Well, friends, we're so excited to be here today at WDAC for this special interview for Prayer Connect Live. We are so thankful to talk to Mike Stike today just about Christian radio and how God is using him and WDAC. So, Mike, we just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for doing this, giving us part of your day. We know you're an early bird with your early show, so thanks for doing this for us.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Well, we want to talk to you a little bit about the ministry of WDAC, and we know that WDAC has a trusted voice in our community for uplifting music and biblical messages. Can you tell us a little bit about how this station got its start, and has it always been here at this location?
Yes, it has always been here at this location. It was built as a little 64 by 64 foot, what they called milk house kind of block building back in 1959. We went on the air December 13th, 1959. So we just had our 60th anniversary this past December. And as a matter of fact, it's Gail's birthday, so that's how I can always remember when we went on the air. But yeah, that was 60 years ago. That was in this building. We've had a couple of renovations to this building since then. And the current building that we're in right now was put up in 1985. But this room has always been the control room. Interestingly enough, back when they first started, this room was lined with chicken wire.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
because of the RF that came off of the transmitter in the back, so it had to have something to keep the people protected. Now we don't have to do that anymore, but yeah, at that time when they first started, that chicken wire all over the place.
Wow,
so.
that is truly amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we know WDAC has a great reputation, and you've been a part of it for a long time. What is it about this Christian radio station that makes it so special?
Well, we're unique in a couple of ways. One, we have a blend of both music and teaching. So many Christian radio stations today focus on one or the other. And when I say music and teaching, a lot of Christian stations that are music intensive will have little 1 minute, 2 minute features that they'll play. But we still play the old half-hour teaching programs. The other thing that we have that's a little different is we sit in a very conservative part of the country. Not just Pennsylvania or Lancaster County, but a very conservative part of the country. And so our music is a little different, our programming is a little different, even our news is a little different. It's all done with a fairly conservative slant to it. And I think that's why people have enjoyed it so much through the years.
Well, you are well known to our audience and to many other listeners out there as the host of that Sunrise Morning Show. What is it like starting a live broadcast at 4 o'clock in the morning? What is that like?
Well, if you promise not to tell anybody, I'll let you in a little secret. My show does go from 4 to 9, but I pre-record the first 2 hours.
Okay, all right.
So I don't actually, when I first started doing the morning show, I did come in at 4 o'clock and I would do the whole 5 hours. Well, then I figured out a way to pre-record that first hour and I would start at 5. And then I figured out a way to pre-record that second hour. So I typically am here between 5:30 and 5:45, and I hit the air live at 5:55 when I put the news on, and then I'm live the rest of the time.
Are you a morning person by nature?
Oh my word, no. No.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that you're not a morning person when that's your main broadcast is that early morning hour.
No, I'm not. You can ask my wife. I am not a morning person. Matter of fact, on Saturdays when I don't have to come in, I'll typically sleep till between 7 and 8. I'll get a couple extra hours of sleep in. You try to bring glory to the Lord in the way that you do it, and for me, and I can only speak for me as a listener, but for me as a listener, if I'm listening to a Christian radio station, I don't want that gloom, despair, and agony on me kind of announcer.
Right.
I want somebody that's upbeat, that's happy, that portrays that, because if you think they're happy, then a lot of times that'll be contagious.
Well, let me ask you, what is your favorite part of this job?
It would be real easy to spiritualize it and say, well, we're getting the message of Jesus out to the masses. But that's true. We don't take that for granted here. I've heard it said that sometimes people that are involved in full-time Christian ministry, sometimes the ministry gets lost in the business. We're a commercial radio station.
Mm-hmm.
We are in business to make money for our owners and for our staff. But I think to a person, everybody that works here would say at the end of the day what it boils down to. And I will over-spiritualize it a little bit. Every morning when I turn this microphone on for the first time, I'll say, Lord, let there be somebody listening that doesn't know Jesus.
Yeah, that's outstanding. You know, when commercial radio started to really blossom as this new media, Christians reached out, they seized that opportunity, and of course, as you said, began to make sure that they were serious about spreading the good news about Jesus. Now, many broadcasters like yourself are continuing to do that every single day. I noticed that WDAC's tagline, as part of their name and tagline, is the voice of Christian radio.
Right.
Well, I want to ask you this question: what would you say to everyday Christians about how they can use their voice to share the message of Jesus in their circles of influence?
I'm convinced that every single Christian, every single believer has a voice. I don't care how timid they may be. I don't care how introverted I'm an introvert. One of the characteristics of introverts is that if they have something that they're passionate about, they're not introverted about that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll share that. And so I don't think it really matters. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to work at a Christian radio station. You don't have to be a Bible teacher. You don't have to be on a street corner shouting out the message. You can just do it. God gives you an audience every day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times through the years in my Sunday school class where I'll hear people say, do you have any idea how fortunate you are that you get to work with Christians every day? And I'll say to them, do you realize how fortunate you are that you've got an audience to witness to every day?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not that I can't be a witness to my coworkers, but we all believe basically the same thing. I know it's cliche, but I want to be who He wants me to be. Mm-hmm. And I want to try to live my life according to the way that God wants me to live it. And that's a prayer that I ask every morning, is that I can show that through the airwaves and that it might connect with somebody. I mean, that's what we're about, Pastor. We're about spreading the gospel. Mm-hmm. We're about trying to get lost people saved. Mm-hmm. And so that's my goal every day, is to try to be a light.
That's great. That's great. Well, friends, we've had a really wonderful time here. We've been at WDAC. We're right here in the control room with Mike Stike, and we are so thankful, Mike, to have the chance to sit down with you and hear what God has done in your life, bringing you into Christian broadcasting. And we just thank you for being so welcoming to us, opening the doors, and giving us this opportunity to interview you and talk to you.
It's my pleasure. I enjoyed it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Pastor.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.